All right, and now we are moving on to vocabulary acquisition, part 2, which is a continuation of the first presentation, which I believe actually ended up getting broken down into a part 1A and a part 1B. More than likely this will be also broken down into two sections, a part 2A and a part 2B as well. And again, I'm trying to do this so that they're in more manageable sections for when you sit down to actually review them. So, continuing on, we are going to pick up with the next section, which is something called the Frere model. And this was something that I said was student directed. However, before you can let the students work by themselves, you are going to have to model this. So you're going to have to model it, and you might have to model it several times. You might need to always take them through the first word of every unit so that they remember what it is that they need to do, but eventually they will get the hang of it, and then they won't need your guidance anymore. But give that guidance until you feel that they don't need it anymore. So it's teacher modeled, it is practiced as a group, and then it becomes either student directed or it can be teacher directed. If you feel it's a concept that's very difficult, you might want to keep tighter reins on it. But basically, it is a worksheet. I have had teachers that have put 2 blank boxes on a page, and if they use the front and back of a piece of paper, they can have 4 words that the students can work on. In the top left-hand corner, they will put the definition. Of course, in the center, they are putting what the word is. So in this case, the word that we're working on is crystals. The definition is a solid made of atoms in an ordered pattern. In the top right-hand corner, they are going to bullet or list characteristics of crystals, and this particular group of students came up with things like they're glassy, it's clear colored, it's patterned, it glimmers, it sparkles, it's brightly colored, it's evenly shaped. If it's something which is correct, but it might be worded a little bit differently, and you're having students brainstorm characteristics, it's always good to brainstorm it and then ask the students if those are appropriate and actually support the word, or do you have to remove some off of the list. Then this way students have a little bit more ownership than you just saying, yeah, that's good, no, that's not good, writing some students' answers down, not writing other students' answers down. So you want to be respectful of that when you're having students brainstorm what characteristics are, or sometimes you're just going to give them the list of characteristics because they just don't know enough in order to generate them on their own. Then in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to give examples. And in this case, examples would be metals, rocks, snowflakes, salt, sugar. Those are all examples of what a crystal is. Non-example, and some people call it the anti-example, but a non-example is sufficient if you want to come up with a cool term because you teach chemistry or you teach biology or whatever. That's fine, the kids like that. So a non-example would be coal, pepper, lava, and other types of rocks. So this is an example of a Frere model, and another good way for students in order to study. This is an example of a class filling out the Frere model on a smartboard, and the student came up and actually drew a picture. Sometimes you can, instead of characteristics, you might have them do an illustration. So in this case, they have the word in the middle. This teacher is asking for an illustration, the definition, and then on the bottom you have examples and non-examples. And sometimes you can have them just bullet it, sometimes you can actually have them write a sentence. So this is students actually doing it. Okay. These are, again, examples of Frere definition models that these are special education students who did these, and these were in a self-contained classroom. So you have your word, which is growth, and again, it's all depends on how you want to set it up. What the definition is, you have them drawing a picture, and then you have them you know, writing whatever else, increase of size and number of cells. So that's what growth is. Then here's another one on chlorophyll. Here they drew their picture. Here's something which is very similar to it. It's called the vocabulary graphic card. It's using the front and the back of the card. In the front, on the top, you would have the word. And this probably better for high school students. You have them give a synonym and an antonym. The synonym for a nucleus is a core. The antonym would be the edge. Again, that's a that would be an example, a non-example, just taking it up to a higher level. And then this is the back. The back is a definition. It's the center. You have them write it in a sentence. When I think of a nucleus, I think of an egg. And then here's a picture, and that's how they're remembering it. It's a fried egg with the center and the area around it. This is your second vocabulary assignment for the week. It's an open. All right, and it's a worksheet, so I'd like you to structure it as a worksheet. So what you would do is you would have a place for the student to put their name. You would have the name of the unit up on the top, depending on what it is that your unit is doing it, and then you would have a place for the students to record the date. And then what you would be doing is you're taking your vocabulary words, and each vocabulary word you are going to create a sentence using that vocabulary word. And when you're typing out your worksheet, you're going to probably use a 14 font. So you're going to type out your sentence. You're going to leave the actual word that is your vocabulary word. You're going to type in a blank for them to fill in the word, and then you're going to continue with the sentence. And you're going to give the students this vocabulary word. Now, it could be the day after you've introduced the vocabulary. It could be that first thing that they do in class when they arrive. It could be a do now activity. And you have the students individually work by themselves to fill in the worksheet to best of their ability. Now, sometimes you're going to want to give them a word bank. Sometimes you're not going to want to give them a word bank. I know very often that special ed teachers feel that their students need to have a word bank. I know sometimes it's actually put on an IEP plan that the students have a word bank. So then put the word bank on the bottom of the worksheet so that the students can see that how the word is spelled correctly if they can't readily remember it from the day before, and then they have something to cross off. I've used this word, I've used this word, I used this word. And then once the students have completed the worksheet the best that they can on an individual basis, you're going to have them come together in groups of 3, and they're going to compare their answers. And where they agree, there's not going to be too much of a discussion. Where the discussion is going to come in is when they don't agree. And then they have to give reasons to the other 2 people in their group why they chose a particular word to fill in that blank. And they have to try to convince their partner that their term is correct. And then you can, they can either rectify it or they still have a problem. And then you call time. And what you're going to do is you, as a teacher, are going to review all the correct terms. And then students can ask you questions. You know, well, I really thought that this word better fit or this word better fit. And you can then have that discussion. And that's part of that clarification part of it, so that you know that they have the correct definition and are working with the correct definition. So this is what it looks like. This is an example. Sentences. Geese often blank from northern Canada to the southern United States. So the word that you're looking for is migrate. Geese often migrate. That's the vocabulary word, from northern Canada to the southern United States. If students put geese often fly, that's going to be incorrect because that's not the vocabulary word that you want them to use. So that would be part of the discussion. So when they came into their group of 3, maybe one person used fly, the other 2 people used migrate, they would have to have a discussion as to why migrate is the correct term and not fly the correct term. Another example is, as the boy scanned the sky, he saw the earth cross in front of the moon during a blank eclipse. What you're looking for is lunar eclipse. So then they would complete all of these words and then they would get together. Now somebody might have thought he saw the earth cross in front of the moon during a solar eclipse, which would then give the students a discussion of why solar is the incorrect word but lunar is the correct word. And again, saw the earth cross in front of the moon during a moon eclipse. That, of course, obviously is wrong, and you want them to start using the correct term. So this is what your vocabulary open worksheet is going to look like. You're going to take at least 15 of your words on your unit vocabulary template, and you are going to create sentences. And then you're going to leave it blank. You're not going to put the word in parentheses. That's the word that you want the students to look for. You can either create a word bank all at the bottom where you have your 15 words, and I would put them in alphabetical order, or if you have to manipulate them so that they all fit in the columns, that's fine. Remember that there's going to be a place for the student name, for the date, and you're going to also put the unit that they're working on. I do not have a template. I don't have an exemplar of this, but I will, after you're done completing this exercise. I will take the best, maybe 3 open worksheets that people give me, and with your permission, I will use them as exemplars for next semester. So you are making work for the students in next semester easier, just like some of my students from the fall have made the course easier for you by giving me examples or feedback or whatever to improve the course. So that's what good teaching is all about, collecting exemplars and making improvements on how you deliver the information. Okay, and vocabulary, kinesthetic. I told you that I was going to give you another kinesthetic opportunity. Your students who really need it are going to love this. You're going to distribute words to small groups of students, and there could be 2 to 3 students, and you can randomly assign them. This is a fun activity, so I would not assign them, or you can let them choose their group. You're going to give each group, and again, because they're choosing, don't let them be in groups of more than 3. Give each group 1 or 2 words, and they can be all different words. So if you have 24 vocabulary words and you have 24 or 30 kids, you're going to give them each 2, but you're going to have all of the words are going to be represented maybe once or twice, so that you can see different ways that they do this. And the group is going to decide on an action or a pantomime to teach the word to the rest of the students. So they're going to teach their assigned word to the rest of the students through a kinesthetic activity. So when it's their turn to teach their word, they're going to say their word. They're going to have the class repeat the word back. They're going to act out the word, and then they're going to have the class repeat the action. And then you're going to practice by saying the word and pairing it with the action. So that's a kinesthetic, where they're using their body in order to remember their vocabulary words. And then you can check for understanding, where you would just say one of the words and then have the students have to do the action. And this is a great way to introduce new words or review words, or you can give these words give this as an extra credit opportunity. There are some students that just will not like this assignment. They are not kinesthetic. They don't like acting things out. But for homework, you can say, you know what, if any of the words on our list for this week or for this unit, you think you can come up with a kinesthetic representation for the word, let me know within the next week, and we'll arrange a time for you to teach the class your action or your pantomime for the word, for that word, and they would have to do that same action. They have to say the word, have the class repeat it, act out the word, have the class act it out. And if they are willing to come up with an action or a pantomime and then teach it in front of all of their classmates, then you should be able to figure out some kind of a way for them to earn extra credit. I don't necessarily think that they should be awarded extra points. That often makes things difficult, but you might want to give them a free homework pass, or you might want to say that on the test they only have to do a certain amount of questions. So give them something that is going to be worth it for them. Come up with it, but just adding points on is a way that you distort achievement, and that makes a mess out of your book. So you don't want to do that, and we'll talk about that later. So your assignment is to create that open vocabulary worksheet that we talked about right at the beginning of this presentation. I want you to use at least 15 of your unit words, and this will be uploaded onto Blackboard, and it is due about April 15th. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, make sure you're posting them to that ongoing Domain 4 discussion board, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If there is someone in the class who feels pretty confident in answering your question, that's more than appropriate and appreciated as well, especially if you can get to one of your colleagues before I can get to them.